I got 9 o'clock, and we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Fitch. Here. Clifton.
Here.
Stansel.
Here.
All present. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion carries. Brady, you're first on the docket.
Yay.
What do we got going on? Walk us.
All right, so the first line is, what should I make that there? Is my salary, I believe. Yeah, with a 5%. I'd like to talk to that. I don't know if you want to talk about that right now, or come back to that.
We can go line by line.
Okay,
You want those a little bigger?
yeah,
This is the report we're starting off of.
okay,
So this is the line.
okay.
Yep.
That's
A
great.
little bigger font
Thank
for
you.
you.
I thought I had it, but I
It's-
don't. So, in fiscal year 23, I worked 366.5 extra hours, that I didn't, $14,941, if I would have been paid for it, and I understand I'm salary, but covering shifts. So far this year, just from July to now, I have 194.5 extra hours worked. Because, and that's gonna kind of go into my next line, so that's another, 7,900 just for half of the year. So I was wanting to see if I could, instead of 5%, go to 7, which would put me just over 90, which still wouldn't be these hours as much as these would, but it would be a little bit more than the 5%.
Staffing getting closer to.
We're losing 2 people. We're losing a paramedic and an EMT. Again, one of them's going to Bondurant, the city of Bondurant, for $27 an hour to work 12-hour shifts. So yeah, everybody is pulling.
Sure, they're gonna take your employees.
Everybody's pulling, and that's the bad thing, is it's happening all over. Everybody's pulling people from everywhere.
So are hospitals
So
pulling them.
we're losing here, well then somebody's bad here, so they might come here to work, but then they're gonna leave here and go here. But, so it's kind of unfortunately, kind of a revolving door. We've got a couple students that I'm hoping, or employees that are EMTs that hopefully will test and get their medic to replace that, but again, we're still, as far as staffing goes, we're still having, most of the time, because of the way the shifts, the 3660, which I know they want to change to 24/48s. Most of the time, we're okay with 2 paramedics during the day, but at night, it's still a lot of either I cover during the day a lot, which that doesn't even count as extra hours because I'm already there. At night, it's 1 paramedic and 3 EMTs. So then that gets us down to the next line, which is full-time employees, and that's with their wages. Was that, Shelley, with the 2 extra full-timers put into that?
Yes. Yep.
So hiring 2 more full-timers, going to the 24/48 staffing model, then that would give me 2 paramedics, 1 on each truck, 24/7. Unless, of course, there's call-outs, sick, but right now, if one of the paramedics calls out sick, which is why I have to come in, because we've only got 1 on the truck, we don't have another paramedic.
So you wanna hire 2 more paramedics?
Then we could switch to the 24/48 schedule, and I know there's a meeting coming up with the union or something. I don't know much about that, but I know what the guys want to do, and then that would alleviate what that is right here. So right now so it costs,
So with these 2 new people, would that alleviate you covering?
a lot of shifts, yes.
Okay.
I might still have to cover.
So it won't be the extent of what you did
Won't be
this
the
past
extent
year?
of now.
Okay, okay.
Does that alleviate overtime as well?
Yes, that's what I was just getting to, because like Jason Back, so this year, he's gonna get $111,537. Wow. And quite a bit, that's overtime. And the way that contract is written, that they get first choice of any shifts they want.
Mm-hmm.
If we go to the 24/48s, I'm gonna restrict that. We'll have to change the wording in the contract, and they understand that, and then,
Which we would need your assistance with that.
yes, and no, yeah, perfect, because I've got some ideas.
Mhm.
They, so far what I'm hearing from the guys is they're willing to stay where they're at for year salary, their base for $36.60. Switch to 24/48s and then keep that same, I think they said, I overheard them, I think they said for 2 years, don't get a raise for 2 years, just keep their same,
Until we kind of settled into that.
settle in and, yeah,
Okay.
get that. And that would be starting, the money that we have, figured in here would be starting 2 new paramedics at $20.01 an hour, which that's kind of a brand new paramedic with no experience. I figured that in just because it was pretty simple math
Mhm.
for me.
Well, it sounds like that salary line is really kind of a floater until we have union negotiations.
And it is, it would come, because what we actually pay off of that line is a lot higher than what the budget says, is because of all the overtime that the full-time guys pick up. Like Jason, I think, should be making 70, was it 70?
Was it some-
74.62 is what he should be making, and he actually made $37,475 extra on overtime.
And that's half a salary.
Yeah, right, and then that would also alleviate a part-timer then that would have to fill that spot, so we could take that money off also.
This is all, but that's all calculated into this number on here.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, we did worst case, I'll say
So
worst case.
if we
scenario, but
met the
biggest asking.
unions ask across the board.
And I don't know what the union's asking, to be honest. But yeah, this is just what I put together for, if we put 2 full-timers on, and that's with the IPERS,
Yep,
like,
IFRS, insurance, family insurance.
all that stuff. we set
What
up.
are your solids? You know they want 24/48.
Yeah, 24/48.
You can make that happen.
Yes, that's not, as far as my schedule goes, because my part-timers all work 12, 24, 36, whatever they do. So they're on a 12-hour basis, so that's not an issue. The 24/48s or 48/96, that's all the same staffing model. I would need 2 full-timers, then I could have a full-timer on each truck, on the first 2 out trucks, still have the 3rd truck for backup. Or if we can get a 3rd crew, we'd be able to take more long-distance transfers, because right now I can't send my only paramedic out of the county.
Do you get paid for those though?
Long-distance transfers, we get paid actually fairly well for.
So it's good for good business.
Because they're all transfers from a medical facility to a medical facility, and they pay the mileage 100%, and then they pay of course, all the insurance companies have their knockdowns from whatever, And Medicare and Medicaid, we're still gonna only get the short one, but we'll get the backup from the GEMT that we'll be getting in July.
A
Can
little
you,
off subject, but
You're fine.
with the long distance transfers,
Yeah.
is it possible to have a cheaper, smaller rig for that type
So-
of stuff?
we talked about that.
Maybe that becomes
So
a
I-
third out / transfer vehicle?
Yeah, so I got some, this is down a ways toward the bottom, but since we're on it right now. So the last ambulance we bought was in 2022, and it was 264,000. The new one is 360,000 for the same exact truck, set up the exact
You said
same
three
way.
what?
360,000.
And
Yeah.
what, 2 years out?
Yeah, so if we ordered it today, we could not get it until 2025.
Because there's only one company that
No,
builds.
so you can get a Ford, so it's not the boxes,
Oh.
it's the chassis.
The chassis.
So Ford chassis is Chevy chassis, Chevy quit making them, so Chevy's out, can't get Chevy chassis. So it's a Ford chassis or a Dodge chassis. You have to pick your poison. Dodge has a lot more problems
Yes.
overall than Chevy does with their big trucks like that. Transmission problems, turbo problems like Ford. Ford, you got the turbo problems generally. But again, Ford's a much more viable option. If we go with Ford, from talking with Lifeline, if we go with Ford, because we have always had Ford, we will move up in the queue a little bit. We'll get preferential treatment over some of the other people, but it still won't be till mid-25 if we ordered it today before we can get one. So I got a price on a Class 3, which is the van style, like what we've had before.
And you can legally transport me from Madison County to Iowa City?
Yes, we can do that.
In the van, okay.
It's just a van front end, it's still got the box, but it's smaller. So, I haven't given you the price on that. Basic model, for the price on that, you're gonna like it. You're not really, no.
So this is a
So
Ford smaller
for the
ambulance.
smaller ambulance, it's $308,084.
Oh, you're kidding.
So-
What was the other one, 360?
360.
For a full-size
Full
vehicle.
size, big four-wheel drive truck like we have.
I don't
So,
think we want to go this small.
what, so then I went and did some more checking, remount. So what they do is they take our box off our ambulance, put it on a new chassis, which 207, which is the middle ambulance, the not the oldest, not the newest, it's the middle ambulance, which is having the most problems. That we'll probably have to put, if the motor goes out and that turbo goes out, you're looking at 50 to 60 grand to replace that in the next year. So to replace, to do a box remount with everything, they go through the box, fix everything. What's that page?
How old is that one?
It's 5, going on 6 years old.
6 years old,
And
okay.
we've had problems, that's the one we've had the most problems with
From the.
since we've had it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just, so with just the basic transfer for the, and doing some of the upgrades, like they redo the hinges, stuff like that, is $190,000 to remount the box.
Okay.
Our box, new chassis, new everything, they pull our box remount.
So what would your theory be? You'd get
That's-
this for 190 and you'd use this for long distance transports
Yes.
and little,
Yeah,
Well, it's gonna be the same as what you had, basically.
it's good, yeah, because our box,
Jesse's
it's gonna be our box,
And
everything in the back's
cheap,
gonna be the same.
You're just putting it on a new.
It's cheaper, it's just gonna be a new chassis, but again, that's still 2025 before they could get.
Mhm.
So, that's, my opinion, that's probably the best option, because the box is fine, the box is great. They're aluminum boxes, they're not rusted, you know, they gotta do a little touch-up paint, a few minor repairs, but otherwise it's not.
So you would be okay with the remount?
I would be perfectly fine with the remount.
okay.
How long is your rig out of commission then?
So I'm not sure when they are going to take it, so the.
Did you budget for this?
Then his-
I budgeted for a brand new one, clear to
Oh,
bottom.
okay.
So, I'm not 100% sure I don't know when we actually send it in. Probably not until 25, but it shouldn't be down more than than 3 or 4 months, I would
Okay.
think. And the issue, like I said, I'm working with CCOG on grants. I've got 2 grants applied for right now through CCOG. And, there's some other ones coming up here real quickly that we're gonna try to get, to try to put a power load system in the back of 205, because that truck is one of our, most of the guys like it better, it just doesn't have the power load system, so it's harder on them to lift the cot and do all that stuff. The power load system, and it, 207 has almost 200,000 miles on it, and 205, which is the oldest one, which is 2012, only has like 160. So that's, we can start running it more if we can get that power load system in the back.
Do you think you're gonna be able to hire 2 more?
Yeah, I've got a
Considering you're
couple,
losing 2.
well, I've got a couple people that work for us part-time that
Would do full
that are
time.
willing
will
to
step
come,
up?
that would
Okay.
like to come full-time. One of them, it makes me laugh, is Dave Hadenfeld.
Yeah.
He was full-time,
Yeah,
left for a better thing at Clive, and we all told him that's probably not a good idea. Yeah, he hates it. He said, boy, I'd sure like to come back. Well,
You said, okay.
I said, we'll have to see what we can do, but you shouldn't have left, I told you. I like
So-
Dave's a good guy.
if we do move to a 24-48, which this
Yes.
budget assumes,
Yes.
and we have a rate down in 2025, is that gonna cause issues?
No, it should not, because we're still only gonna be running the first 2 trucks.
Okay.
The third one would just be for backup if we needed it.
Okay.
anyway. And we can still take long distance transfer because we have another paramedic on the second truck.
I would hope instead of 3 or 4 weeks, maybe. 4 to 6, I don't think it's a lot that.
It probably, as long as, yeah, as
If they're
long as they
prepared,
can get,
you know, if they've
yeah,
got everything
if
they
they,
need.
yep, and it wouldn't take long if once they got, because that's always even with the new ones, when they build them, the boxes are pretty much all built, ready to set on the chassis, once the chassis get there. And it doesn't take long, because as far as the electrical, I just found out talking to Lifeline, the electrical, they have to tell Ford that it's gonna be for an ambulance mount. And he says literally it is plug and play. There is a giant Molex plug that we plug into the front chassis and the back's power. That's it. So everything is good to go there. So it shouldn't take that long, I hope.
Yeah, let's get back on the schedule a
Yep.
little bit here. The salary stuff, that just fills in,
Yeah.
brings us to custodial supplies.
Custodial supplies.
About in the middle of your first page.
You're staying the same.
Yes,
Okay.
I didn't increase much.
You think we should increase fuels?
I don't think so. I think I'm okay, because I increased last year fairly decent.
But
And we're right there.
Yeah.
I mean, we're right. I think we'll be okay
Okay,
with fuel.
okay.
You use a lot of office supplies. What do you have?
Paper, a lot of paper, a lot of printer ink. I mean, a lot, because all of our reports, everything's printed.
Nothing's online?
Well, so, we don't actually print the reports anymore. We used to print the reports. Now we don't print the reports unless they need them, to the state. So, a lot of printer paper, because everything comes in printed, as far as the times, hospital stuff.
Okay.
Everything gets printed, and when we have to keep it, that's why I'm probably gonna end up having to buy some more filing cabinets, because we've got so much, it's
Do you
it's
still,
crazy.
you transport somebody, do you still you put all that printed stuff on them and then they go into the ER, you've got to.
So
you
we
have to
have
it so much.
signature forms and
Okay.
run forms, and then insurance stuff comes in,
Okay.
stuff,
Is there any way we can, eventually you're gonna run out of
Yeah.
space, can we archive all that paperwork somewhere?
Not when-
So what my plan is I'm gonna get some totes, because the stuff I think we have to keep it for 10 years, I think for us it's 10 years. Because, and there is some stuff there's some 2014 stuff that will empty a whole file cabinet. I'm gonna put it in then I'm gonna get some totes and just label them, and we got plenty of storage space, just
Okay.
stack them, because I've never had to go back to anything farther than 2 years for any request of anything. I've never had to do it. So I figure if I can put it in boxes, stack it, then when it's time, you just shred it. take
Isn't
shred
it a locked area where it can be locked?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it 7 or 10 years?
It's 7 for most things, but I think EMS is 10 years, because I think they can still come back on insurance companies and stuff for 10 years. I'll have to check with our billing company for sure, but I think it's 10 years we're supposed to keep because of the medical records.
Well, then keep it.
Are you looking at your year-to-date on office supplies?
Yeah.
You're up, you're at 40% of the budget, and last year we
Okay.
spent about 4,200, so you might not need 5. You might
Yeah,
knock that down.
we could probably get down to 4 on that, then, yeah.
You're okay with that? We're
Yeah.
gonna knock it down to 4?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Did you hear that, Jill?
Medical lab supplies.
Ooh.
That fluctuates tremendously.
You're way below budget year-to-date on that, so I wonder.
Yeah, but it's call volume of medication, depending what meds. Some of our meds we use cost, some of our meds we have to use cost $100 to $200 a vial. Some of them cost 65 cents.
When you're down significantly from previous years.
Yes.
Well, previous years were
Well,
COVID.
yeah, I mean, 25, I would leave it, I'd like to leave it at 25,000, just because you just don't know, and if there is a shortage on something, like there is a shortage of, Versed right now, which is a benzo, that we just used it yesterday. It goes, when there's a shortage of it, the cost goes really high.
Well, you have it at 30,000.
No, he's got 25.
25.
For
How
this
much
year.
of that would be opioid related?
So, and that's
We could
the,
probably
Which
put
you
some
have all
revenue
that
into
money.
well, so, we buy opioid stuff, as far as we buy fentanyl and morphine. Those are both two of our cheaper drugs. Those are the only opioids we carry.
What about
And then
Narcan?
Narcan we carry, but Narcan's not that expensive. Like, we used Narcan yesterday. We use, in this area, we're lucky in Madison County, we don't have that many opioid-related calls.
Old school meth.
Right, but yes, 100%. It's meth, it's synthetic marijuana, it's,
So you've 25, can you go down? You think you need that?
We dropped it down to 30.
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't,
You
I
wanna
would
leave it?
kind of wait,
Yeah,
because if
because
we look at
again-
the year
Okay.
after COVID, they did 18.
Yep,
and like I said, it only takes one,
yep.
I'm a little
Bad.
concerned with some of the shortages I'm hearing about
there's
medications.
a lot of shortages.
All right, what about
Okay.
apparel?
Apparel, we probably
Apparel?
should keep the same, because
Yeah,
especially
because
higher
I've got it down, apparel right now, with the staff I have right now, everybody gets an allotment to AIA. We use AIA, which is an online company. They're in Des Moines, I can pick the stuff up. They've been doing really well. That's broke down to every single employee gets, like, part-timers get $250, full-timers get $600, and that comes out to exactly $7,000.
Does this include the two new people?
It does not, but we're gonna be getting rid of, and I get it also, and they just give me stuff, because I get all the tryout stuff.
Yeah.
Here, see if you like this. Well, then I just wear it because it's nice, it's not.
You don't care.
No, it looks good, I just wear it as my uniform, so my 600 just kinda sits there, I don't
Okay.
really have, I haven't spent any of it.
And I think it's important you all look the same, dress, I think
Yeah.
it's really important.
So,
Okay.
everybody's got, so that's broke down to exactly what
So
We're
you
gonna
don't think
leave
it
that.
should be up?
No,
Because we're adding
that's-
two people?
I think that would be good.
All right, postage and mailing, it's like, I didn't cover 2 rolls of stamps. You haven't used any.
No,
Do
no.
we need to have postage and mailing anymore?
You have a stockpile of stamps, correct?
Yeah, I did, but I've got down to, I think I have like one whole side and then like half of another side.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So you're good on stamps?
I'm good on stamps, because I mail a couple things.
Okay.
Can you
Otherwise,
lower
your
that?
billing company sends everything.
Yeah, so the only thing is if we go to this lockbox solutions that PCC keeps talking about, where I won't have to be doing the deposit anymore, then I'll be having to mail vanilla envelopes up there with all the checks and stuff in them. So, that's supposed to have been done, but I don't know what.
It's $100, let's
Let's
keep
leave
moving.
it, let's move on.
Okay.
Employee mileage and travel, that looks pretty much online.
Yeah, that-
Telephone.
Our telephone service to me is outrageous.
It
Can't we
is.
bundle this somehow?
I've asked for information
Yeah, no,
from them, and
Yeah.
what I'd like to do is sit down with our entire inventory, go over the contracts, go over the bills, and see.
Well, that's
if
your
there's-
wheelhouse, do it, see if you
I'm
can.
not sure what's going on, it
Okay.
looks like they're burying fiber by my dad's place there on
Yeah,
Route
they,
6.
I'll reach out to Jen.
I don't know who's doing it, it's the contractor that's doing it, it doesn't say
No.
who it is.
Oh.
Each office is paying a chunk.
Well, I know they must be doing something because our internet keeps going down, and we had MediaCom out because it was bad. They fixed something, replaced something outside, and it's been great. Well, now the last 3 days, it's gone down for a couple hours. We'll call them and we'll say, hey, they're like, yeah, we know it's down.
They get
It'll be
everything
back
marked
up
and all kinds
about
of
this
board
time.
equipment out
So
there.
now at least they know it's going down, but.
All
Well,
right.
Starlink is available now in Madison County, so that's something we can also look at.
All right, ambulance service accounting.
That's the billing company. Again, that kind of reflects on how many runs we have.
It looks like the year-to-date's pretty light.
Like,
Yeah, how many runs we have and how many bills, because like the year before, you can see it was 39,400.
Yeah, we're really
So it's
close.
right there. So depending what their bills come in at, that's one of those things.
Is it possible you might have, it might tick up more and
So the winter for us is usually
more,
busier. It's a lot higher than everything, because we got the fuel costs,
right?
more people, more,
So do you wanna leave this? Do you don't think
if we
go
can,
there?
yes.
Okay.
Ambulance services accounting and clerical, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
So that's GEMT. That's the GEMT money that we have to pay, and it's a percentage of what our expected return is.
Paid to who?
To this, that goes to, what department does that go to, Shelley? GEMT?
Yours.
No,
This is
Who
the
do we-
special
who do we
accounting
send
we
it
have to do to
Oh,
get better
you remember?
reimbursement.
We just did one on the last claims run.
yeah.
So if you look,
This is money we have to pay the state.
But this should offset in the revenue side.
It will all come back, including the money we pay out.
Okay.
So they just, oh, so it's a wash, you pay it to them and you get reimbursed.
Yeah,
Okay.
plus,
Ambulance service education entry.
yeah, that's gonna, that.
Is that gonna also cover two new people? That, you know?
No.
Do you
Okay.
want, you need to raise it?
Probably if we could go to, 5 should cover it. And that's good, like I said, the 1,400, that's because we haven't, everybody's renewing. My full-time guys are renewing their paramedics and PALs and all that. We've got those classes set up, but they just haven't been billed out yet.
So you're gonna increase it
To
to 5?
If we can increase that to 5, the training budget.
So does it, I mean, we haven't technically approved two new people, but should we?
Sure. Well,
Should for consistency's sake, just assume it for this budget?
Because 5,000 would cover,
Okay.
should cover everything.
It's like your natural gas is really low, but we haven't hardly had to use the heat.
Yeah, it'll, I went back and looked at last year's, yeah, it jumps, your little lines from like 39 therms used to 790 therms used.
But if you change it, it'll get wicked cold.
And electric light, power looks pretty much online.
Water and sewer the same.
That seems a little,
So the water, we can probably go down a
Some
little bit.
of this was really us throwing darts and guessing on. it.
right, it's
Yeah.
a new building.
Yeah.
Why don't we look, would you guys be opposed to lowering it just 1,000?
Looks like we could drop that.
The water should
To
be able to go to
3,000?
3, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
The water should be able to go to 3 without giving me permission.
Right.
Yeah.
Vehicle maintenance. That's
Um,
a big
and I-
crapshoot.
I put that in there, I upped it just because, just in case, 207, something does go down, the turbo goes out of it, something like that, that we have to get fixed.
From what you said, that's gonna shoot the other figure as well.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if we should
Raise
leave it
it?
at 25, and if that happens, have to do a budget amendment.
We can do that,
Shelley, what do you think of that?
Do you
I'm
wanna,
fine with
which-
that.
do you wanna do, for the vehicle repair?
440.
yeah,
Do you wanna leave it or, and do a budget amendment or just raise it now? What's the season?
we can leave it and do a budget amendment.
Okay.
We'll leave it at 25.
Sorry, I'm still trying to find the GEMT stuff, sorry.
All right. Building repairs, looks like we're pretty much on track there. Shouldn't be much for repairs.
Shouldn't
except
be,
for when we break stuff.
Yeah, when my people were.
And the building is still under warranty, is it not?
No,
It's not.
it was a 1-year one.
It's a 1-year warranty.
Yeah,
Seems like we just got that.
right,
I know.
Oh, it does. All of it just seems.
right. A couple things I know are still under warranty, because I just received an insurance, a verification of insurance from Colas Mechanical for, I think, the air exchanger, and maybe there was something else. I just received a verification of insurance, so they must be carrying insurance on it because it's under warranty.
That sprayer's all working out fine after all the
Yes,
fiascos we had with that.
yep, everything's working good.
Now, that's kind of your wheelhouse, so
Yeah.
if you feel something's wrong, you're gonna catch that before it
Yeah,
gets
oh, for
fixed.
sure.
Yeah.
And I, like I said, I make sure the filters are all changed, I get up,
Yeah.
change the filters in the air exchanger, I change the filters in the furnace, I make sure all that stuff's done.
He's kind of windy, so we're running behind. He's a little windy, so we're running behind.
Oh, okay, that's fine. They're trying to cheat me out of money.
So,
Blame
How are
it
you,
on
sir?
Brady.
Good, bud. How are you?
Iowa
Good.
GEMT.
Keep busy? Oh, yeah.
Okay, so.
For a retired guy,
so.
yeah, what are you doing up so early?
Position, we didn't pay anything this
love it.
year, but we're paying, you're saying it's gonna go up.
It's, yeah, we should, yeah, there should be bills to, maybe, there should be 5, they should be paid already. I mean, they come, there's 2 of them that come once a year.
Okay,
And the one just came, and I just sent the bill.
okay, so it just didn't
might
hit it,
be,
okay,
yep.
all right.
And they charge you?
You have to inspect the fire alarms.
It's $2,500?
It, for both of them, so it's the fire alarm monitoring, the inspection of the fire alarm, and the inspection of the sprinkler system.
Really?
that have to be inspected every year.
And then we have to pay for remote alarm monitoring too? Next one. For $600?
Yeah, I think it's the same way for the courthouse too.
Oh,
so we
Like
just
there's
have-
services.
Because,
So that's-
because I get a call from 2 people if our alarms go off,
Okay.
so I don't know who.
Let's go down.
Radio, or like you're reducing that slightly? Radio should be.
Yeah, so we're actually, this was, we put in to get the in-house paging system that we talked about last year and we okayed last year, and he has not came.
Well, should we,
He's on the schedule, I called him, he's on the schedule, it should be done this fiscal year, it should be.
then we should put it on next fiscal year though.
I'm trying to think what. Yeah,
He gets in here before
we could probably
the
drop,
end of June, we'll have that abnormal
Yeah.
expense taken care of, and we'll fall back.
yeah, we could drop that, cause I'm still gonna need some pagers and stuff for the guys and radios.
Maybe drop that by half,
Yeah, go to 45 will be fine.
okay.
Okay. Dues and memberships.
That's for our, image trend that we have to pay for, which is our report writing system. All the IMSA, I should have listed this stuff, so I should have done. Because it costs us, they'll be coming out here pretty quick with, because we have to, so by state mandate, we have to send, all EMS reports have to be available to all hospitals within 24 hours, state mandate. So we have, Image Trend sets it up, and then they monitor it to make sure the hospitals have access to it, and it costs us $5,300 a year to be compliant, so that the hospitals can pull reports.
Mhm. So what, it looks like you've only spent 2,200.
Yeah, so that was for,
And the previous year you spent less than 600.
yeah, because we weren't doing.
So you need the 72, what do
We
you,
weren't doing-
7,200 you need?
That was, yeah, that number should be higher, that 2203, I think, should be higher than that, because unless we haven't, that bill hasn't gone through yet. Because Image Trend charges so much for the.
So if that's the case, what's the rest of the money then? Is that?
So we have to pay IMSA to be members of IMSA, which is the Iowa EMS Association. We have to pay the directors, CIEMD, the Image Trend.
And all of these are legally required dues and memberships?
No. So IMSA and the CIEMB are not, but since we're members of those, we get a discount on our supplies from Boundary.
And it's beneficial to belong to IMSA.
Yes, it is.
IMSA,
It's, yes,
Okay.
It helps you.
and they give
get-
us classes and they,
Yes.
stuff
Okay.
like that.
It's
Yes.
very, it's
Okay.
a,
All right, so
that's-
you're saying that number's pretty good.
Yeah.
Medical refunds, what is that?
That
So that's if the patient overpays us and we have to pay them back, which I submit those for repayments. And we've done that once already this year.
okay, so the insurance company pays you, that
And then
I
they want
don't
their
know
money.
it, so I pay you, so you have to reimburse.
Reimburse you guys or the insurance
Okay.
company. And that's a floating number. Some years we don't have much. Like the year before, we only had $2,300. So far this year, we've already got 4,000. So.
Could you
it's
lower that to maybe 8?
Like we can take it to
Probably,
eight,
we can take it to
We
8.
never
I
been-
think.
We never been that high, we've been close
So go to 8?
to 8. All right, I think that is the expense side.
Yeah, the new ambulance at the bottom, and that's one of those things we'll have to come back, do whatever.
And the rest is just,
And then there's,
Yes.
Do you wanna lower the ambulance expense?
So I just sent you guys a new email. The ambulance was in the overall budget that I did, but when I printed these reports, because that account line isn't active for this current fiscal year, it didn't show on your report. So I re-emailed you a new report to show that
For ambulance
ambulance line.
expenses?
So,
Yeah.
so
Did you
you
put the
did add in
190
the
in
new
there?
ambulance?
Yes, it was
You
in
did.
the budget, it just didn't print on your
Okay.
report.
Did you do it at 360 or 190?
I did it at 360, so I can reduce down wherever you
We
want that
okay
to be.
looking at 190?
190, and it's gonna fluctuate, once we go through and actually see what they might be a little higher, a little lower.
So you amended 360, or you already put it in?
It was already in as
Okay, so
360,
We
we'll-
so
have
you
to
wanted
spend
it
all of that,
190
even though we're
even?
not gonna get it till 25?
Do we wanna do 190 or should we do an even 200?
Let's do 200.
I don't know for sure on that. I know we have to pay for the
Let's
chassis
just do
up
200.
front.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, but I'll check with
so she
Dalton.
budgeted that. Way to go, Shelley.
Okay.
It's okay, we got it now.
All right, very good. Let's
Now we
go
try
on
this
to the
last
income side.
Pretty quick. Are you at county events?
Yes,
So you're getting paid now for some of this.
some. We get paid for the Wild Boar Challenge, we get paid for, well, we don't go to the racetrack anymore, because that's not there, which is good. If we go, we do get paid for that. We got paid for another,
The
Brody.
iron, did you get?
yeah, that was the
Iron
Wild
Man.
Boar Challenge.
Oh, okay, yep.
We got paid for a rodeo that was at the fairgrounds after the fair. And
Interland?
we didn't staff Interland, so we didn't get anything for that. Which when we only went over there one evening for a call.
So is that why it's blank, because it's more like a McGrady, you can't really predict what it's gonna be?
Yeah, cause if we only have one event, it might only be $300 and,
Okay.
Not gonna make or break your budget, is it?
Mhm.
no.
So these are just the known ones?
Yes.
Sure.
The GEMT MCO payments, we're projecting that at 79.
So that's what we are supposed to get, plus the money we paid in back.
So that's gonna be
So-
revenue to you.
Yes, that'll all be coming back.
So for current revenue though, it looks like you've got a little less than 100,000 in already and the year's half over. Do you think you'll make the 600,000 in revenue this year?
Probably not, but I don't know, it all depends on the billing people, the insurance company's paying us.
Okay, okay.
Keep in mind, November month end isn't done, we can't get balanced.
So this
and
really isn't through 50.
This is not through
Not
50%.
through half the year,
So
it's
there's no
through-
November, there's no December on here.
Okay, so it's
because
really
we
only through a
are-
third of the year.
So, because,
So,
okay,
yeah.
so leave it alone.
So I don't know, and we do have, since I've resent the stuff to the collection agency, we are actually getting money, people are paying their bills.
Oh, good. Okay.
It's kind of shocking to me.
Good.
The people paying, it is a shock.
Yeah, it is,
So, anything else for Brady?
No?
No.
No, I was just gonna give you the expense side, you'll see on page 1, the third line is blank for part-time employees. That's just because that's budgeted down in the rural fund right now. As we start meeting to figure out where fund balances are, that's a line that I can move back and forth. But it is budgeted down in the rural fund as of right now for part-time.
Okay, perfect.
One thing I want, just for thought, is the essential service tax that goes straight to EMS. It's something that has to be put on the ballot and voted for by the people if they pass it. And I'm not exactly sure, I know you put so many cents, whatever you
Oh,
decide.
essential service.
Yeah, the essential service
We
tax.
do a small levy.
Whatever they, and then if the people have to vote on it to see if they actually.
That
want to go.
requires a creation of a board to oversee that.
Oh, it does, okay.
And it'll have to be voted in by the tax.
So how
Yes.
is that different from what we're doing now, funding it out of our
It breaks it
regular?
out.
It's a different,
It's kind
yeah,
of
I
like the
don't,
mental health
it's a
test,
different thing,
yeah.
I don't know,
It's just, they create, if the people wanna do that, then what happens is it's no longer us deciding on approving their budget, it'd be this board.
And they would set the
They would
levy
set the levy.
essentially?
It would run pretty much like the assessor's office. He
Yeah.
would then become his own taxing authority, and there would be their own budget.
And what would the
and-
benefit of that be?
Well, it would just be
They have money
whatever
for
they
all
bring
this.
in is their money, so it's not, all funneling out of the general fund. To the taxpayer, it's not going to, you're either budgeting it over here, and and taxing them,
So-
or you're doing it over here, but it's a cleaner way of saying, okay, this money is all brought in, and this is only for EMS.
And so it would just take some off of the general fund, would still be funded through the general fund, just an extra.
Dollars.
Yeah,
But,
it
well, the difference would be is that because it's its own fund, it would no longer be technically counting funds. So each of the parcel owners would pay the same percentage regardless of where they live.
I have mixed, I kind of support it in some parts,
I know, I'm the
kind
same
of
way.
don't.
I think it's a Pandora's box. necessarily.
I don't like it that we lose kind of control, but I like it that you have your own funding and you have to live within what you, I
Sure.
like that, but some of it
I was just, so people are talking about it.
I don't. Yeah. Oh, it's a hot topic, I mean,
Mhm.
it's in a lot of these small.
There's pros and
counties.
cons to it.
Sure,
Yeah,
and I haven't researched it much, so I don't know the whole.
Well, some counties passed it, I mean.
Yeah, I knew that. so,
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
thanks,
Thank
Brady.
you.
Yep.
Brady,
Any questions, you know where I'm
All right,
and we can find you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sometimes I drive by and you have 2 vehicles in your parking lot, other times I drive by and you get 6.
So, that's a good question. Sometimes somebody might pull around back because they're unloading something and they just stay parked behind by the, or we have a training, or we have people just stop in.
Okay.
People just stop in and come in and drink coffee because they're off duty and, you know, it's,
I just noticed that I've been a couple of times.
yeah, somebody had to run to the store.
All right, didn't see anybody driving their cars off in your parking lot.
No, they stop right along the edge.
All right.
Thanks, Brady.
Thanks.
Hey, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.